When the Cleveland Browns fell 23-9 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Shiloh Sanders still stole the spotlight. With Shedeur Sanders still on the sideline and yet to play since joining the Browns, his brother Shiloh decided to calm things down, giving his significant bro energy, and fans couldn't stop talking. Shiloh Sanders turns sideline fun into a memorable moment. After the showdown, the video of Shiloh dressed head to toe in Browns gear, donning Shedeur's number 12 jersey, and even copying his brother's calm swagger. He walked through Acrisure Stadium, interacting with fans, pointing at the field, and playfully gesturing as if he were calling plays himself. This happened right after another rough time in the Browns' offense. Their quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, started for the Browns but failed to move the ball effectively against the Steelers, who had a hard-ass steel defense throughout the face-off. A-Rod guided Pittsburgh skillfully, adding 2 touchdowns and controlling the clock as the Browns failed to score in their offense again. On the other hand, Shedeur Sanders, who'd been added to QB2 after Joe Flacco's trade, never left the bench. That context made Shiloh's playful sideline coaching class feel like perfect timing, part brotherly gesture, part social media gem. The video quickly got the limelight on X, where fans gave a hilarious stance. One fan joked, "I've watched this video about 10 times already, and each time I watch it I find something funny that I didn't see before." While others remarked, "How can you not love them? Perfect combo." Another fan remembers his brother, "Face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy. I promise this reminds me of me and my brother, lol the vibes." A fan chimed, "These are 2 wonderful, respectful young men. God protect them both." Folded Hands Dion did a wonderful job raising them. Raised fist dark skin tone, raised fist dark skin tone, raised fist dark skin tone. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals are worlds apart on paper. Entering Thursday Night Football, Mike Tomlin's team is plus 12 in point differential, while the Bengals sit at dead last in the NFL with a point differential of minus 80. Meanwhile, the Steelers are the 9th-ranked team in DVOA, per FDN, while Cincy ranks 32nd. When you look at the rosters of these 2 teams and consider the catastrophic injury to Joe Burrow, it's not hard to make sense of. Apart from maybe just the wide receiver position, the Steelers are the better team across the board with fewer roster holes. And most would agree that Pittsburgh possesses a better coaching staff. This feels like a recipe for success tonight, right? While logic and oddsmakers both favor the Steelers, a few incriminating stats make this the ultimate trap game for Pittsburgh. Ugly stats prove the Pittsburgh Steelers could be walking into a trap on TNF. There are certain situations in which Mike Tomlin has been historically excellent. The Steelers are 14-4 after a bye week, and after taking down Dillon Gabriel and the Browns in Week 6, Tomlin is 27-6 all-time against rookie quarterbacks. Sadly, the longtime head coach has a concerning record on the road on Thursday Night Football. During his tenure as the Steelers head coach, Tomlin is 2-8 on the road on TNF. Technically, they are 2-9 under Tomlin on Thursday night, but one of these games was a season opener. Furthermore, when facing AFC North rivals on the road, Pittsburgh is 0-6 under Tomlin. These stats go from bad to worse when you consider who they are facing this week. While Joe Flacco is hardly the most daunting quarterback on the schedule, Tomlin has a .500 record of 11-11 against the now 40-year-old QB. The Steelers lost to Flacco just last year. As a member of the Colts in 2024, Flacco led his team to 27 points off the bench in a win over Pittsburgh. In their most recent sample of playing Thursday Night Football on the road, the Steelers allowed quarterback Jameis Winston to put up 24 points in an upset Cleveland Browns win over Pittsburgh on November 21, 2024. Tonight's game is anything but a walk in the park for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If anything, it feels like Mike Tomlin's team is walking into another trap. There is no denying that the Pittsburgh Steelers need a true WR2. Though the team is relying heavily on DK Metcalf, there is no other wideout who has made a mark. Record with Bengals win Metcalf leads the way with 356 yards and 4 touchdowns through 6 games, but no other receiver on the team has gone over 200 yards. Jaylen Warren is next closest with 153 yards and 1 touchdown. Simply put, the The Steelers need more firepower for Aaron Rodgers, and they should be looking to upgrade the wide receiver unit ahead of the trade deadline. ESPN's Bill Barnwell put together a list of trades that make sense, and Pittsburgh has made that list. Surprisingly labeled as trade candidate ahead of deadline, Barnwell indicates that the Steelers could send a fourth-round pick to the New Orleans Saints in exchange for All-Pro New Orleans Saints receiver Rashid Shaheed and a fifth-round pick. Enter Shaheed, who is a free agent after the season. Since entering the league in 2022, the undrafted Weber State product has averaged 15.6 yards per reception, fourth best in the NFL over that span. He has also been a return man in the past, something the Steelers wouldn't mind adding after taking rookie Caleb Johnson off kick returns in September. Shaheed will make $2.8 million over the remainder of 2025, a very reasonable price for what he brings to the table as a secondary option in the passing game, Barnwell wrote. The Steelers need speed, and they need a reliable receiver who can open up the passing game far more. With Austin dealing with an injury and the rest not stepping up in a bigger way, Shaheed could fit that role. Shaheed has 316 yards and 2 touchdowns this season and would be a huge compliment to Metcalf. Once Austin comes back from injury, the three could form one of the better wide receiver trios in the league. Rodgers and the Steelers are having a good start to the season, but the team needs a true second wide receiver alongside Metcalf. If they want to go on a dominant run past the deadline, Shaheed would be the right kind of player to take a swing at acquiring. The Pittsburgh Steelers have had one clear focus ahead of the upcoming 2025 NFL trade deadline. After starting off the season with a 4-1 record, the Steelers appear to be a legitimate contender in the AFC. However, in order to cement their status as a contender, the team could look to continue being aggressive ahead of the deadline. Looking at the current state of the roster, there are not many major weaknesses. Adding a wide receiver behind DK Metcalf is likely the most pressing need for Pittsburgh. The front office will have a few different options to choose between if it decides to try and swing a deal. A few of the options that have been brought up include Romeo Doubs, Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed. Now, another potential target has been suggested for the Steelers. Garrett Podale of CBS Sports has named Baltimore Ravens wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins as a player Pittsburgh should pursue. Making a trade within the AFC North division would not be easy, but Hopkins would make an awful lot of sense as a number 2 wideout behind Metcalf. The acquisition cost for Hopkins shouldn't be high given his age, and the Ravens won't need his services much longer with one of football's worst defenses, making it nearly impossible for whoever lines up at quarterback for them to win games, Podale wrote. It seems like a win-win deal for two bitter AFC North rivals, with the Ravens even getting a single pick back for a 33-year-old receiver on a 1-year deal. So far this season with the 1-5 Ravens, Hopkins has played in 6 games. He has racked up 9 receptions for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. Due to the injury that has kept Lamar Jackson out for a prolonged period of time, the Baltimore passing game hasn't been nearly what it was expected to be. Hopkins has been unable to produce at the level that many expected. Making the move to the Steelers and playing alongside Aaron Rodgers and Metcalf would give Hopkins a great opportunity to pick up his level of his production. He would also be able to help take some pressure off of Metcalf. Of course, this is just an idea. Pittsburgh and the Ravens coming together on an impactful trade might not happen. But if Baltimore is open to the idea, the Steelers would be a perfect landing spot for Hopkins.